I chose to present a Bible that's piqued my interest over the years, but not one with which I've had any experience. This seemed like a great opportunity to unpack this particular Bible and learn more about how to study different translations, how to know, understand, and assess its claims and assumptions. It's quite amazing that a few short weeks in this class has completely changed my approach to thinking about the Bible and how to approach the Bible as scripture. I can't quite believe how much knowledge, understanding, and assessment change how a Bible is interpreted. And more alarming than this is the revelation that the Bible can be interpreted so as to weaponize it. I've also found how much my personal experience interacted with my assessment. I have several hats: psychologist, Methodist, recovering addict alcoholic, and now a fledgling interpreter of the Bible at True. Having a long history as a psychologist, I can be particularly attuned to the validity and use of any book as a tool for healing and personal growth. As a long member of the 12-step program and AA, I can get pretty bunched up when someone starts to mess with the integrity of the program. As a fledgling interpreter, I'm at the stage where nothing seems to be what it is. The Celebrate Recovery Bible is a unique edition of the Bible intended to supplement and support the Celebrate Recovery program, a Christ-centered recovery program for people recovering from addictions and mental health issues. Celebrate Recovery is founded on biblical principles, encouraging individual responsibility, spiritual growth, and collaborative support. Part of my passion to return to school was to find a way to integrate all my different selves into a mission to serve recovering individuals. Therefore, on the face of it, the cover of this book lured my attention. However, I do think it's a bold move to publish a Bible and name it anything else but the Bible, as well as intimating that this particular Bible is a support to people in recovery. Now I can't even get past the front cover. Here are some details, though, about the text. There was also a new version of the Recovery Bible printed as a 30th anniversary edition in 2021. Just the book cover generated a number of questions for me. I felt I needed to find out more about the Celebrate Recovery program, the author John Baker, and Rick Warren, who wrote the forewords, and also why did they use the NIV version? Celebrate Recovery started in 1991 at Saddleback Church in Lake Forest, California. At that time, the church was meeting at a high school gymnasium. John Baker was already using the 12 steps of recovery to solve his addictions. However, he found that the use of a higher power was not sufficiently engaging him in a spiritual process. In the 12-step program, it's sufficient to come up with your own version of God, but John wanted a program that was Christ-centered. Celebrate Recovery is a biblically balanced approach to help bring sustainable recovery and healing to our hurts, he says. It guides us towards new healthy truths and life-giving habits as we repair our broken relationships. Join more than 7 million hurting people across the globe who now walk in freedom through the power of Jesus Christ as we walk through the 8 principles of Celebrate Recovery based on the Beatitudes in Matthew 5. End quote. The other co-founder of Celebrate Recovery was Rick Warren, an American pastor, author, and global influencer in the Christian community. He is best known as the founding pastor of Saddleback Church, one of the largest and most well-known megachurches in the United States. Rick Warren was an American Baptist evangelical Christian pastor, which perhaps explains his choice to use the NIV version of the Bible. The American Baptist churches like many other Christian denominations, don't have an official or prescribed version of the Bible. Members of the American Baptist churches use various translations based on personal preference, scholarly consideration, or the preferences of the congregation. Commonly used translations among American Baptists include the New International Version, the King James Version, the English Standard Version, and the New American Standard Bible. The choice of translation may vary from church to church and among individual members. Here are some immediate observations from a quick look at the Recovery Bible. It does use the NIV translation. Therefore, any assessment of this Bible includes studying the New International Version. The Recovery Bible hasn't altered any of the text. It also doesn't have very many footnotes to study. While the Bible remains unchanged from its NIV version, surrounding the books are commentaries written by John Baker, which related the text to the recovery principles of the Celebrating Recovery program. Some of them are interesting to read. John Baker puts himself into the character's place, rather like we discussed in the class precept, to bring his ideas and thoughts to life. However, I'm not sure whether he gives a sufficient heads up that they are his interpretations and style and tantamount to fiction. The Recovery Bible features lessons and reflections based on specific biblical passages that align with the themes of recovery, forgiveness, healing, and spiritual growth. Again, this is how the author has chosen to reveal the content. I am just wondering how much liberty he took with the translation to make these connections. For example, in the Recovery Bible, the author uses Genesis 3, 7-8 to discuss how the power of change comes only through God's grace and that secrets and denials separate us from God. Whilst this isn't inconsistent with some of my own beliefs, I went back to Genesis 3, 7-8 in the Study Bible, SBL. The footnotes describe how self-consciousness of nakedness and sexuality is part of the knowledge that makes one like God. So this note places more emphasis, I believe, on making sure that humans are not gods. Also, I cannot find any reference to God's grace in the SBL Study Bible, except perhaps that he didn't kill Adam or Eve despite his warning to them. I have mixed emotions about the integration of the 12 steps with biblical texts, so long as the authors make it very clear that this is their take on recovery and not the last word. It opens up the possibility that the reader could mistake the author's connections and interpretations as authoritative. Finally, I do see that this Recovery Bible has some value to the recovering addict, alcoholic, or anyone using the 12-step program who identifies their higher power as the triune God. Thanks.